Well, hello woodworkers from YouTube land. Today I'm kind of working on a little project. My wife Darlene decided that she would like to have a little lap stand for reading when she's sitting in a recliner. And so what I'm doing today is trying to put something together that she could easily just set on her lap and put her notepad or book or Bible, whatever she wants to read. She can set that up there on it like a little podium, slanted, and it will be easy for her to read without causing problems for her neck, which has been a little bit of a problem lately. So what I'm going to do first, I've taken a piece of 1/2-inch Baltic Birch. I've got it on the table saw, and I'm first of all going to just barely touch the back side of the plywood as I push it through the saw, and the saw blade teeth are just barely sticking up high enough. They'll cut that first layer, and then I'll flip it over, cut the other side, and then I'll do a full pass. And the idea is that what I showed you a month and a half ago, the idea that has been around for a long time, and that is that if you cut a really shallow pass on a piece of really nice plywood that you don't want to mess up, you just barely have the teeth above the table saw, the saw table, and that way you're not going to have a lot of tear out. So we'll do that, and then I'll finish up by making one full pass. I'm going to make the two sides, and it's going to be 9.5 inches on the low side, back to next to her in her recliner, and then it will be 15.5 inches at the high side, and the distance between the front and the back will be about 9 inches. So this will give her a nice angle so she can look through her progressive lens in just the right spot to read, and it will keep her from going like this when she's reading down here. So you see what I'm up to. Okay, here we go. I have a neighbor that for some reason every time I want to make a video he decides he's got to crank up his lawnmower. So if you hear a lawnmower in the background, just ignore it. Hopefully we can go ahead and make this without any real interruption. Okay, my angle, I'm going to use my miter gauge here and a piece of wood that I'm going to line up against the blade, and then what I'm going to try to do is get the line that I've drawn here on the plywood to line up with the edge of this piece of wood, and that way we'll have the same angle when we get through. So first of all, I've got to get my beveled miter set up here. Okay, there we are, and it looks like it's about 15, 21, 22, 23 degrees. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is to take this block of wood and set it up against the end here, clamp it to my miter gauge like so. That way I can duplicate the other side without having to do a bunch of calculations. So we'll wind it down, and we'll cut the angle on one side, then we'll have to reverse and move our block to a different position so that we can cut the other angle on the opposite side. The next thing I need to do, now that I've cut my bevels for the angle of the reading table, I have to get my saw back into square again with the miter. So what I've got going on here is I've laid a piece of 1/2 inch MDF, actually I think it's Baltic Birch, next to the blade and under my miter, so that the framing square is laying level. So then I make it so there's nothing, no gaps along here, and then no gaps on the back side of the blade here. Now I'll tighten this down and I should be almost perfectly perpendicular. Take my pieces of wood out of here and we'll go ahead and cut the podium top, I guess you'd call it. So the angle's about like so. Okay, the side pieces are cut out and the top. You see here we got the angles right together nicely. Now I've cut the top where she's going to lay her books. And I've made a little bit of a lip here out of another piece of plywood that can set right there, and it's going to lap down a little bit onto here to give it a little more stability. And then that way she can lay her book here, and she's got a little bit of something to put the bottom of her book up against. Well, that's about it for today. I've got everything cut out except for cutting out the inside part of the side pieces here, like I was talking. But we'll finish it up in the morning. Well, good morning, YouTubers. Hope you had a good night. I forgot to mention something yesterday. On the tabletop part, podium, whatever I called it yesterday, we need to have a 22 to 23 degree angle on the top and bottom here. Otherwise, it's going to look kind of dorky when we line it up here. But you see, we get a fairly good match there at about 22 degrees. Maybe it's 23, I don't know. I hate to measure stuff. Anyway, I thought I'd throw that at you so things will look a little better when they're finished here with that degree cut on the tabletop. We're just about ready to cut out the sides on the bandsaw to make it a little lighter. Hopefully this is going to make it so that it's not a big cumbersome block of wood that weighs 20 tons for her to lift off of her lap. And so here we go with the bandsaw. Well, there's the finished product. What do you think? Well, I decided that what I would do is take the router and cut a router here about a 1/4 of an inch deep on each side. Actually, I think I should say 1/8 of an inch on each side. And then I'm going to put a piece of veneer right in here. Actually, this is birch plywood, and put it like so. Then on the other side, of course, I'll do the same thing, and then glue it in place, and it'll be a pretty nice match. Well, there's the finished product. What do you think? I'll move it around a little bit so you can see the whole thing. It came out pretty good, I believe. Okay, this is Wayne for this week at What's Up, Wayne. Hope you have a good weekend, and please subscribe so I know whether you like my videos. It would be much appreciated. Thank you so much. Bye now.